You won't believe what just happened in the most obscure realms of hip-hop aristocracy. Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about blood on designer shoes, police sirens, intensive care unit monitors, and at the heart of it all, 50 Cent in critical condition following a fatal attack that was purportedly started by none other than Papoose. Yes, you heard correctly. Mr. Loyalty didn't suddenly lose his temper. He attempted to complete him. Additionally, Remy Ma's leaked nude photos served as the catalyst for a storm of betrayal. Give it time to marinate. What caused Remy's personal images to wind up in 50 Cent's iCloud? Why did Papoose have murder in his sights while he was prowling around a secret rooftop club? From flirtatious pictures to a near-fatal beating that led a rap mogul to the intensive care unit. How did it all happen? We're not merely leaking information. We're disclosing voicemails, emergency department reports, and secret agendas you shouldn't be aware of. This is more than just a feud. It's a burning scandal. Hold on tight. The betrayal is profound. The receipts are startling. And believe us when we say that nobody escapes the story unscathed. It always begins with a whisper, a grainy picture, a mysterious tweet, or a suspicious post. The whisper, however, became a scream this time. A cry so loud it could wake the whole internet. The ICU is now being awakened by it. 50 Cent, the sharpest tongue and loudest troll in hip music. EMT insiders claim that he is now lying silent, in a hospital bed, bruised, broken, and hardly conscious following a fatal physical assault that left him bleeding in front of Manhattan's elite. And who is facing assault charges? Papoose, that's who. The man who reportedly didn't rap about anger, but once boldly rapped about love, devotion, and black brilliance. And why did this meltdown occur? Nor a diss track, nor money. However, Remy Ma is accused of leaking nude photos. Yes, we did warn you that it was horrible. According to sources, the attack was so vicious that it appeared as though he was attempting to kill him. That isn't drama on Twitter. That's what the NYPD calls it. Fans are now curious as to how we transitioned from rap to ICU beds to beefs. Let's go back. Gossip pages began receiving an enigmatic digital file 3 weeks ago. Just a series of intimate, obviously private images, purportedly of Remy Ma, no name, no caption. The blogs initially dismissed it. Deepfakes using Photoshop AI, however, enthusiasts quickly made the connection between tattoos, specific tattoos, actual scars, and piercings. It was all in one post. In the event that it is not Remy, I am legally blind. Then the bombshell about digital forensics arrived. The photos' information tied them to an iCloud account that was linked to a burner phone that was previously owned by none other than 50 Cent, whose real name was Curtis Jackson. Abruptly, the Vinternet exploded. The Remy leak became popular. Some defended, some laughed, and memes went viral. However, one man wasn't even laughing. Papoose. He has been the epitome of stability for years. Writing poems about their love, turning down outrageous deals to keep Remy's reputation intact, and keeping her in check during her time in prison. However, this storm was distinct and caused the man to lose his temper. The days of silence followed. There were no remarks spoken in public or disparaging remarks made until last Saturday night, when everything erupted. The Vibe Vault, a posh rooftop lounge in the Lower East Side, recently hosted a lavish event hosted by 50 Cent. It was moguls, invitation, models, and money all over. Rare form was fiff, girls laughing, champagne pouring, and insufficient security. The fact that Papoose was already inside the premises was unexpected. Papoose appeared under a false identity, dressed modestly, and remained silent. According to a staff member who spoke on condition of anonymity, he reportedly spent more than an hour watching while ordering water from the bar. Then chaos broke out as soon as 50 went outside to get his car. Police have seized surveillance footage purportedly showing Papoose charging 50 from behind while clenching his fists. The following incident is regarded as one of the most severe celebrity assaults the NYPD has witnessed in recent memory. According to witnesses, 50 was caught off guard by a powerful right hook that sent him flying to the ground. Papoose was on top of him, beating him with his bare hands before anyone could respond. According to one story, the sidewalk was covered in broken sunglasses, blood, and even teeth. A bouncer was elbowed to the ground when he attempted to step. And Papoose was eventually pried away by 3 bodyguards, but the harm had already been done. 50 was unconscious, with his left eye swollen shut and bleeding from his mouth and nostrils. In a matter of minutes, EMTs arrived on the scene. After being taken to Mount Sinai Hospital, 50 Cent was admitted to critical care almost right away. He had a serious concussion, 2 shattered ribs, a dislocated shoulder, and a broken orbital bone. Later that evening, he apparently regained consciousness, only to inquire, "Where's Remy?" Before becoming dark once more. Now, pause. Rewind. That he asked for Remy Ma without asking, "Where am I?" or "What happened?" Which raises the question, what kind of history were they hiding? Because this is the more shocking part. None of it has been refuted by Remy. Rather, she's completely transformed into a ghost. No tweets, no shows, no posts. It seems more like a robotic statement from her public relations staff that said, "Miss Mackey is asking for privacy at this time." She is not involved in any current criminal investigation. Prenuptial agreement as opposed to a declaration of innocence, correct? But hold on, it gets more juicy. Papoose was yelling during the assault, according to an unnamed bartender who saw it happen. What he said? "You assumed I wouldn't know. Do you think I wouldn't notice the messages you two exchanged?" Y'all is the most noticeable phrase. Yes, exactly. Not him. No, it's not her. Therefore, it is not only the case that Remy Ma's personal images were leaked, it's that she might have purposefully sent them to 50. Folks, this wasn't just one pic. According to a person familiar with the investigation, 12 distinct pictures were taken out of the cloud. All of them were timestamped from April 3rd to April 8th, which is roughly when Remy was in Miami without Papoose. Can you guess who else spent that weekend in Miami? 50 Cent. At a private Stars Network dinner, they were even seen sitting at different tables, reportedly for a possible scripted project. However, the 50's heartbeat monitor is now the only programmed item. Online, fans are going crazy. Remy's out here sending thirst traps, while Papoose writing her poems. It's an example of a tweet that is not related to business. That was awful. At last, 50 was beaten worse than his vitamin water supplies. However, behind the jokes, something more sinister is being spoken on the streets. That envy or leaked photos were never the only factors in this situation. The betrayal was gradual, and Papoose had been keeping tabs on everything. According to an unverified story, Papoose gained access to Remy's old phone's tracker program, which allowed him to view deleted direct messages, SMS, and screenshots. It's doubtful whether that's believable and whether it's lawful. Let's face it, the attack wasn't motivated by blind anger. It was a surgical procedure. This wasn't a bar fight. This was calculated. This man didn't come to fight. He came to finish, even the case's main detective reportedly told a colleague. And if that's the case, Papoose's charges could quickly get out of hand. He already faces felony counts of attempted manslaughter, aggravated assault, premeditated, battery, and possibly conspiracy if there is evidence of stalking or tech-based surveillance. But we haven't even reached the most bizarre part yet, because when police searched his jacket after he was arrested and booked, they discovered something far more sinister than a knife or gun. A folded, sweat-stained envelope with the words, "This ain't loyalty, it's war." Inside a 4-page letter, all in cursive, penned in black ink. What investigators are calling a manifesto of betrayal. And let's be clear, this wasn't just a rant. It was a poetic, calculated breakdown of everything Papoose believed had gone wrong in his marriage in the industry. And most damningly with Remy Ma and 50 Cent. One passage reads, "They sent each other laughs and lies while I build castles. On the floor of a jail, I restrained her. She raises her dress for clowns now. I never forgive." Another man recorded the fall while the other one posed, but neither man knew. The officers on the scene said the tone was calm, almost meditative, and that's what made it so terrifying. Pap don't play about stuff like that. She knew it. She just didn't think he'd find out. That leak blew up the internet. It wasn't a mystery how the photos got out. It was how long Remy had been playing with fire before everything burned down. Next, we'll look at the timeline. In early April, 50 Cent and Remy Ma were spotted together at a Star's pre-production dinner, supposedly for a new female-driven hip-hop series. According to sources close to the table, the two were flirting with 50 and making jokes about using her as the lead in a role based on actual betrayal. Oh, the irony. Later that week, the two were spotted at a private poolside party in South Beach. There were no official photos or tags. But fans believed Remy was alone with 50 late into the night after seeing a grainy photo of her car in the valet lot. Timestamped at 2:13 a.m., things got shady when Papoose canceled 3 scheduled studio sessions within days of that trip. Citing a family situation, and a cousin who spoke anonymously claimed that Papoose began sleeping on the couch. More damning, investigators allegedly discovered spyware on Remy Ma's old tablet linked to a fake Gmail account that was linked to Papoose's old business email. Yep, this means that he may have had access to her cloud, her texts, her direct messages, and possibly even the photos before they were ever leaked. Therefore, if 50 Cent never leaked the photos publicly but ended up in the hospital, it suggests that the beating wasn't about exposure, but rather about violation, about crossing an invisible line that led directly to the intensive care unit. Although 50 is still in critical but stable condition, his camp is incensed. One Geet associate told the Shade Spot, "He isn't letting this slide as soon as he is once more mobile. Have faith that he will take this to court and the booth." Yes. Rumor has it that 50 is already penning a diss tune called Riker's Romance while confined in the hospital. "You held her hand. I possessed the proof. And now you're in jail" are among the rumored lyrics. "The booth is where I am." Savage, without a doubt, and don't count on him to stop there. According to sources, he is preparing a documentary-style podcast to shed light on what actually transpired. Working title, Kept Quiet by Allegiance. This stuff cannot be made up. Oh, hold on. We can, indeed. And we did. Meanwhile, there is a lot of speculation on the streets. A few supporters claim that Papoose is a hero for standing up for his marriage. Some refer to him as dangerous and insane. Another argument that is gaining traction is that Remy Ma planned the entire incident to undermine the credibility of both guys and regain her position as the scandal's survivor queen. 4 TikTok clips in one. According to 3 million views, Remy was never hacked, sent the pictures, had access to Papoose, and deliberately set off the explosion in order to end the marriage. And that's where things quickly turn legal. Because Papoose's defense may be strengthened if prosecutors can demonstrate deliberate emotional provocation. His attorney has already suggested that betrayal, not premeditation, was the driving force behind this crime of passion. However, the letter in the jacket, the spy gear, and the fact that Papoose apparently flew into Manhattan carrying only that envelope and gloves are undermining that theory. Remember that 50 Cent is a media powerhouse, a multimillionaire, and a well-known figure. He might file a legal lawsuit seeking millions of dollars in damages. Additionally, Remy may be called as a witness or more now that she is listed in court. Subpoenas for access to her devices. She hasn't revealed her face, which is even more bizarre. 72 hours before the incident, Remy Ma was last spotted in public, departing a Queens recording studio. Since then, there have been no interviews, performances, Or stories just one mysterious tweet that has since been removed that said, "Sometimes the only way out is through hell first." We felt it too. But up until today, 50's crew has kept quiet while Remy hides and Papoose awaits his arraignment. According to a recent insider leak, 50 Cent has formally stepped up security surrounding his hospital room and is speaking with federal authorities on alleged digital privacy violations related to Remy Ma's unintentional posting of sexual material. More images of other female rappers and reality personalities connected to the same iCloud account are reportedly making the rounds. Yes, exactly. This betrayal might have happened more than once. Perhaps there was a pattern to it. A game of control, leverage, and power in the digital realm. And if that's the case, 50 Cent's list of enemies is going to grow significantly. Because the first thing 50 asked for after waking up, according to the hospital workers, was not water. It wasn't his telephone. It was not his attorney. It was for a notepad and a pen. We are all aware of what that implies. He's planning. Additionally, Remy is the first name at the top of that list. There he was, with a guard stationed at the hospital door, tubes in his arm, and facial bruising. However, 50 Cent requested a pen and a notepad, the one item he knows better than anyone else, instead of phoning his attorney or relatives. Because there isn't peace when 50 people are silent. It's a warning. According to insiders, he scribbled line after line for almost 2 hours without saying anything. According to one nurse, he was loading ammunition, not writing. He said the moment he could talk, he made one call, not to Remy, not to the cops, but to a producer at Gunnet Films. In typical 50 Cent form, he added, "I got something hotter than power." This time, real blood. Boom. Thus, enemies list came into being. From his hospital bed, a limited drama television series is currently being quietly constructed. Imagine D-Line meets Drink Champions, but with actual names, secrets, and film. Can you guess who it is? Remy Ma is rumored to appear in episode 1. The leak's title is Queen, and it gets messier just when you think it can't be much messier. Because the district attorney's office was planning something while 50 was using a pen to plot retaliation, something else. Citing Remy Ma as a key player in a case involving aggravated assault, digital exploitation, and possible witness tampering, they have formally sued to gain access to her digital cloud. Take a moment to process that. The lady who was applauded when she left jail is now dealing with a very different type of heat, silence and high heels this time. In the meantime, Papoose, who tabloids have now dubbed the rap vigilante, is sitting in a frigid Rikers cell on $2 million bail and remains silent. However, his legal team is making a lot of noise. His lawyer made this shocking revelation during a heated press conference outside the courthouse. This wasn't intentional violence. This was character self-defense. Sometimes you lose your temper when a powerful person takes advantage of your wife and no one pays attention, and the public's perception starts to change. Some followers, particularly on Black Twitter, claim that 50 Cent, a notorious stirrer, walks away from the victim while Papoose gets penalized for standing up for his marriage. Anyone would, but others aren't so sympathetic. You can't just beat someone into a coma over a betrayal. There's therapy for that, one tweet said. After releasing that girl's nude photos and then grinning about it, Fifth snapped. Which leads us to the final wild card in this whole drama. Remy Ma. Where is she? TMZ reports that she was last seen in Atlanta boarding a private jet that was purportedly owned by a Southern music artist. And 50. Oh, he's not letting that slide. He took 2 threads because, of course, and dropped this line. They dropped in peace. While I'm dropping lawsuits, one-hit wonders better run. Her team recently announced a surprise EP titled Still Not Sorry, set to drop next Friday. The lyrics reportedly address exposure, betrayal, and being blamed for men's egos. She's not just leaning into the drama, she's monetizing it. Yes, 50 Cent is suing Papoose and Remy Ma for physical harm, emotional distress, and lost brand revenue from missed partnerships. Based on a critical disruption in production schedules, streaming partnerships, and brand sponsorships. His lawyers estimate losses exceeding $7 million. In other words, you messed up the bag. Now pay up. This lawsuit isn't petty, surgical, because it includes a list of other women whose photos may have passed through 50's cloud. Names have been redacted, but they say he was gaining leverage, not just pleasure. The true story may not be about Remy and Pap, but rather about the number of other people 50 was sitting on. We're talking about former collaborators, reality stars, and up-and-coming rappers. The implication is that 50 Cent may have been operating a digital vault of secrets for years, and now the vault is opening. Enter the FBI. Yes, you read correctly. Federal cybercrime investigators have started a quiet investigation into cloud-based image exploitation involving multiple celebrities and unauthorized storage of explicit content. If they uncover enough evidence, everyone lost. 3 careers, 1 scandal, and the truth buried somewhere beneath cloud passwords and police reports. Let's not pretend this is over. Let's not act like the courtrooms and cameras will bring real closure. The truth is that this was never just about Rhee's photos. Reddit threads are analyzing the shadows in the footage. TikTokers are using memes and Twitter to recreate the scene. Twitter is in flames. One post best captures it. Remy walked in with a bag. Here's the real question. Was this a calculated move by Remy Ma to end her marriage and rebrand as a solo?